Today, we are going to explore an ancient philosophy that can completely transform the way you see love and relationships. Have you ever felt frustrated, anxious, or even desperate in your search for love? Then, this video is for you. Let's dive into the principles of Stoicism and discover how this ancient wisdom can help us find peace and contentment, even when love seems out of reach. Stoicism teaches that true happiness and inner peace do not depend on external factors, but rather on cultivating a balanced and self-aware mind. The practice of self-sufficiency is one of the most powerful ways to free yourself from the desperate search for love. According to the Stoics, self-sufficiency means finding contentment within yourself by developing a strong sense of self-worth and personal acceptance. Self-sufficiency begins with self-acceptance. It is essential to recognize and accept who you are, with all your flaws and qualities. This process involves deep reflection on your own characteristics, behaviors, and values. By understanding and accepting your own nature, you begin to build a solid foundation of self-esteem that does not depend on the approval or love of others. Personal development is another crucial component of self-sufficiency. Investing in yourself through education, hobbies, career, and physical and mental health can provide a sense of achievement and purpose. The Stoics advocate the idea that we should continuously strive to improve our skills and knowledge. By focusing on personal development, we shift our attention away from the need for external validation and become more emotionally independent. Practices such as meditation and daily reflection are recommended by the Stoics to cultivate self-sufficiency. Meditation helps calm the mind and develop greater self-awareness, allowing you to connect with your thoughts and emotions more deeply. Daily reflection, in turn, involves reviewing the day's actions and thoughts, learning from experiences, and adjusting future behaviors to align with your values and goals. The practice of self-compassion is equally important. Being kind and understanding to yourself, especially in moments of failure or difficulty, strengthens emotional self-sufficiency. The Stoics emphasize that we are all human and therefore susceptible to errors. By treating yourself with the same compassion you would show a dear friend, you build emotional resilience and a foundation of self-love. Redefining your own definitions of success and happiness is another essential step. Often, we are conditioned to believe that happiness is tied to external achievements, such as romantic relationships. However, the Stoics remind us that true happiness is an internal choice. By redefining what it means to be successful and happy, based on internal values rather than external expectations, you create a more authentic and satisfying life. Practicing self-sufficiency does not mean isolating yourself from the world or avoiding relationships, but rather developing a solid foundation of emotional well-being that does not depend on external factors. By focusing on self-acceptance, personal development, meditation, self-compassion, and redefining success and happiness, you can achieve a lasting sense of contentment. This self-sufficiency reduces the need to desperately seek love, allowing relationships to develop more naturally and healthily. The concept of amor fati, or love of fate, is a central principle of Stoicism that teaches us to accept and even love everything that happens in our lives, whether good or bad. This unconditional acceptance of circumstances can be a powerful tool to reduce the desperate search for love, helping us find peace and contentment in the present moment. Amor fati is the practice of accepting fate and seeing each event, no matter how challenging, as a necessary part of the life journey. This perspective encourages us to embrace all experiences, positive or negative, as opportunities for growth and learning. In the context of seeking love, Amor Fati invites us to accept that love may or may not appear in our lives at the desired moment, and that this reality is part of our unique path. Radical acceptance is a practice that involves fully accepting reality as it is, without resisting or fighting against it. In Stoicism, this means recognizing that many things are beyond our control, including when and how we will find love. By practicing radical acceptance, we reduce the anxiety and despair associated with the constant search for a romantic relationship. The Stoics emphasize the importance of living in the present moment, a concept closely related to Amor Fati. Focusing on the here and now, instead of worrying about an uncertain future, helps reduce stress and anxiety. Appreciating and valuing current experiences, whether solitary or shared, allows us to find joy and contentment in everyday life, reducing the need to desperately seek love. One of the main lessons of Stoicism is to see adversities as opportunities for personal growth and development. Applying this principle to the search for love means realizing that the lack of a relationship can be an opportunity to focus on other areas of life, such as personal growth, career, or hobbies. Each difficult experience can strengthen our character and better prepare us for future relationships. Gratitude is a powerful practice that complements Amor Fati. By expressing gratitude for what we have, instead of focusing on what is lacking, we shift our perspective from scarcity to abundance. This can include appreciation for friendships, family, personal achievements, and small joys in life. Cultivating gratitude helps us see that happiness and fulfillment do not solely depend on a romantic relationship. Accepting fate through Amor Fati allows us to find peace and contentment regardless of external circumstances. By practicing radical acceptance, living in the present moment, turning adversities into opportunities, and cultivating gratitude, we can reduce the desperate search for love. This Stoic approach teaches us that true happiness comes from within, and that every experience, good or bad, is part of the unique journey that is our life. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of distinguishing between what is within our control and what is not. This principle can be effectively applied to reduce the desperate search for love, helping us focus on areas of life where we have direct influence and accept those where we do not. According to Stoic teachings, the only thing we can truly control is our own thoughts, attitudes, and actions. Everything else, including the behavior of others and external events, is beyond our control. Applying this understanding to the search for love means recognizing that we cannot control when or how we will find a romantic partner, but we can control how we handle this pursuit. Self-discipline is a crucial aspect of internal control. In the context of Stoicism, this means cultivating habits and behaviors that promote personal and emotional well-being. Instead of expending energy trying to control the uncontrollable, we can focus on developing self-discipline in areas such as health, career, and personal growth. This not only improves our quality of life, but also makes us more attractive as potential partners without the need to desperately seek love. Focusing on internal control also involves developing emotional resilience. The Stoics teach that we should prepare ourselves to face adversities and difficulties with calmness and composure. By strengthening our emotional resilience, we can better handle loneliness and rejection, seeing these experiences as opportunities for growth rather than personal failures. Reflection and self-evaluation are practices recommended by the Stoics to maintain focus on internal control. Taking time daily to reflect on our actions, emotions, and thoughts helps us identify areas where we can improve and adjust our attitudes towards the search for love. This can include questioning our expectations, assessing our emotional needs, and redefining our life goals. Accepting uncertainty is another way to apply the principle of internal control. Stoicism teaches us to be at peace with the unknown and to accept that not everything will go as planned. In the search for love, this means being open to different possibilities and not clinging to rigid expectations about what love should be or when it should happen. By accepting uncertainty, we can approach life with a more relaxed and confident attitude. Focusing on internal control, as taught by Stoicism, helps us redirect our energy to areas where we have direct influence and accept what we cannot control. By developing self-discipline, cultivating emotional resilience, practicing reflection, and accepting uncertainty, we free the desperate search for love and find contentment in our own actions and choices. This approach allows us to live in a more balanced and satisfying way, regardless of the state of our romantic relationships. The Stoics believe that many of our frustrations and sufferings come from unrealistic or excessive expectations. Detaching from these expectations is a fundamental practice to avoid the desperate search for love. By adjusting our expectations to be more realistic and based on reality, we can find greater inner peace and satisfaction. The first step in detaching from expectations is identifying those that are unrealistic. Often, our expectations about love and relationships are shaped by external influences such as movies, books, and society. These romantic ideals can lead us to believe that we need a perfect relationship to be happy. Recognizing and questioning these unrealistic expectations is crucial to reducing the desperate search for love. Redefining what love and relationships mean to you is an important step. The Stoics teach us to seek virtue and wisdom in our actions and relationships. Instead of looking for a partner who meets all our desires and expectations, we can focus on finding someone with whom we can grow and share similar values. This shift in perspective can reduce the pressure and anxiety associated with the search for love. Emotional detachment is a practice that involves learning not to cling to specific outcomes or expectations of how things should be. In the context of relationships, this means being open to different possibilities and accepting that things may not always go as planned. By practicing emotional detachment, we can approach life with more flexibility and adaptability, reducing the need to desperately seek love. Focusing on the process rather than the outcome is another way to detach from expectations. The Stoics remind us that the journey is just as important as the destination. In the search for love, this means valuing the experiences and lessons learned along the way rather than fixating solely on the end goal of finding a partner. This approach helps us find joy and meaning in the present, regardless of the final outcome. Acceptance is a fundamental Stoic principle. Accepting reality as it is, without trying to mold it to our expectations, helps us live more harmoniously. This includes accepting our own limitations and those of others. In the search for love, accepting that perfection is unattainable and that every relationship will have its challenges allows us to approach relationships more realistically and healthily. Detaching from expectations is an essential practice to reduce the desperate search for love. By identifying unrealistic expectations, redefining love and relationships, practicing emotional detachment, appreciating the process, and cultivating acceptance, we can find greater inner peace and satisfaction. This Stoic approach allows us to live more balanced and content lives, focusing on what truly matters and finding joy in the present. Gratitude and mindfulness are powerful practices that can transform our perspective and reduce the desperate search for love. In Stoicism, these practices help us appreciate what we already have and live in the present moment, finding contentment and inner peace. Cultivating gratitude involves recognizing and appreciating the good things in our lives. This can include anything from major achievements to small daily joys. Keeping a gratitude journal where you regularly write down the things you are grateful for can help develop a more positive and satisfied mindset. In the context of the search for love, gratitude reminds us to value the relationships and connections we already have, whether they are family, friendships, or personal experiences. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment, without worrying about the past or the future. The Stoics emphasize the importance of living in the now, appreciating each moment as it is. Mindfulness can be practiced through meditation, conscious breathing, and the attentive observation of our daily activities. By focusing on the present, we reduce anxiety and the need to desperately seek love, finding joy and contentment in current experiences. Often, in the search for new love, we neglect the relationships and connections we already have. Cultivating gratitude and mindfulness helps us value and nurture these relationships. Spending quality time with friends and family, expressing appreciation and gratitude for them, and being present in their lives strengthen our emotional bonds and provide us with a sense of belonging and love. Loneliness can be a challenging experience, but the Stoics teach us to see every situation as an opportunity for growth. Mindfulness and gratitude can turn loneliness into a moment of self-discovery and personal development. By taking advantage of these moments to reflect, meditate, and engage in activities you love, you can find a sense of contentment and fulfillment that does not depend on a romantic partner. The practice of gratitude and mindfulness encourages us to find joy in the small things in life. Whether it's appreciating a beautiful sunset, savoring a delicious meal, or simply enjoying a moment of silence, these small joys contribute to a more fulfilling and satisfied life. By valuing these everyday experiences, we reduce the need to constantly seek something more, including a romantic relationship. Cultivating gratitude and mindfulness is a powerful way to reduce the desperate search for love. By practicing daily gratitude, focusing on the present, appreciating existing relationships, turning loneliness into opportunity, and finding joy in small things, we can develop greater inner peace and satisfaction. This Stoic approach helps us live more balanced and content lives, appreciating what we already have and finding happiness in the present moment.